bench the entire time. This of course means for those little ones, no simple lifting or simple shuffling them around. Alright, looks like we have the all clear from our warden to enter the reserve. We are going to begin our journey in the little Aturi forest. Animals in the Aturi forest, they have excellent camouflage, so make sure to be on the lookout for me, folks. Also, make sure you guys have your phones and cameras ready. Unfortunately, you're not able to stop for every single animal. If we actually did that, it would take a full 2 weeks. Over to your right-hand side, those are the okapi. They are one of the living relatives of the giraffe, even though they aren't exactly a copy of them, thanks to the stripes on their legs. They also have a very long tongue that they're able to use to grab branches up in trees to get those tasty leaves. To your left, you're going to see two animals. The tan ones are the greater kudu, while the brown ones are the bongo. Bongo are known as the ghosts of the forest because they are rarely seen as well as rarely heard thanks to their backwards facing horns. Of course, those allow them to creep through the bushes near silently. Both male and female bongos are going to have horns, whereas for the greater kudu, only males will have horns. So that means that those ones back there were females. Greater kudus are also one of the tallest antelope in the forest. They stand about 5 feet at their shoulders. Over to your left-hand side, if you look past those logs in the middle, there are going to be a black rhino laying down. Black rhinos, they are the smallest rhino species on the reserve. They weigh up to only 3,000 pounds. I know, super small. To your right, you're also going to see a saddle-billed stork. Saddle-billed stork, they can get a wingspan of up to 9 feet long. That is going to be the same length as the bench you guys are currently sitting on. For my friends on the smaller ones, that is the length of about one of their wings. They're also going to mate for life, so somewhere in the forest is a second saddle-billed stork. Whereas for the black rhinos, they're extremely antisocial and they love their alone time, which is why we only saw one of them back there. Now in 2015, there were only 5,000 black rhinos left in the wild. However, through conservation efforts, that number has since doubled and is still rising. We are now heading into the second stop of our journey together today, which is the Safi River. Animals in the Safi River, they are semi-aquatic. That means they can be found both above and below that water surface. To your right-hand side, you're going to see a hippo over there, as well as some pink-backed pelicans. For those pink-backed pelicans, they get their names from the pink feathers they have on their backs. They're also going to blush for their crush during mating season. Their facial features are going to turn a pretty cute blush pink. They're also going to gather up to groups of 500 pelicans when it is time to nest. That is a lot of pelicans if you ask me. More hippos. This does include looking below the water surface for them. That is because hippos, they can weigh up to as much as a car. Speaking of cars, their preferred method for transportation is to go to the bottom of the river and push themselves along using their feet. They're also able to hold their breath for several minutes, helping them in their journey below the water surface. That is thanks to the fact that their nostrils are going to work exactly like a whale's blowhole. And so they're going to take a big breath above the surface, close their noses, and then dive back down. Oh, look, there's actually a group of them below the water surface to the left. That group of hippos is going to be called a bloat. The way to remember that, of course, is whatever floats your boat. Now, hippos, they can eat up to 100 pounds of vegetation every single day. Over to your right-hand side, you guys are going to see a baobab tree. Baobab trees are able to store thousands of gallons of water inside of their tree trunks thanks to spongy-like bark material. They're also going to be leafless for about 9 months out of the year, which helps them conserve water. course, then it's going to be nicknamed the Upside Down Tree. Because we are seeing the baobab tree, that does mean we are now heading into the Wild West Savannah, which is going to be home to some very cool animals. So make sure you guys have your phones ready to get those very cool pictures. Let me know if you guys happen to see any of those animals. I think I actually see one way up ahead in the distance, so you guys might not be able to see it quite yet. While you guys are looking to your right, you might be noticing how those trees have a very flat bottom. That is thanks to one of the tallest landscapers I know, and that is going to be the Maasai giraffe. When they are fully grown, they do get up to about 20 feet tall. This does mean that their little ones experience gravity as their first thing coming into this world. That is because they're going to drop about 6 feet down to the ground when they're born. Although I promise you they're going to be a-okay. They're actually going to be up and moving within an hour. Sable antelope, they have those really cool backwards curved horns. Looks like there's also some wildebeest hanging out with them. For the sable antelope, though, they're going to use their horns to defend themselves from predators jumping on their backs. They're also known for being incredibly brave in standing their ground. So naturally, they are the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. That is because we want to remember to stand our ground and fight for these animals in their spot on this planet. Speaking of being known for something, the wildebeest, they are known for the great migration that they do every single year, where 1.5 million of them are going to gather together and travel up to 1,000 miles. During that time, they do become the second most densely populated animal in the world. Those are the greater flamingos. They get their names because they are the tallest flamingo species. They also have that beautiful pale pink color that they get by eating brine shrimp, which is very small. And so the way that they eat is they have a very cool filter inside of their beak. Excuse me, I'm talking here. And so the flamingos are going to dunk their heads underwater, take a big drink, and then they're able to filter out their food. Over to your left, you might be able to spot that cheetah laying down in that far left corner. Cheetahs, they can get up to 60 miles an hour in just a matter of seconds. Over to your left-hand side, keep it out because those are Kopi rocks. You can usually find lions lying on those Kopi rocks because it gives them a nice viewpoint of the rest of the savannah. That being said, lions do rest for about 20 hours a day. A majority of that time includes cat naps, of course, but the rest of that time is going to be spent awake and alert.
Those still eat meat, right?
Lions do.
You guys are able to tell male lions apart from females because male lions are going to have an extra hair around their head called a lion's mane. Males, though, are going to stay back and protect the pride, while the females are going to be the hunters. That is because there's great strength in numbers, and it's going to be a lot more females than males. To your right is the ostrich. They are the largest and tallest bird species. Thankfully, they are flightless birds, but they do still get up to 40 miles an hour when they run. They're going to use their wings for balance, just like cheetahs will use their tail. That is also a female ostrich. Male ostrich are going to have black feathers. And looks like there was another ostrich that was about to cause some trouble up ahead. Hopefully it doesn't cause any trouble for us.
Oh boy.
And of course it is. Try and keep your fingers inside, please.
Why?
Because ostriches they spit. Oh. Look at him. So what the hell are you guys doing right now?
Alright, we are back on the move, folks. If you look to your left hand side, there's that male lion laying down over there. As well as a female.
Mommy,
Nice little cuddle party.
ostriches, herbivores.
Male lions, they're going to stay back and protect the pride, while the females are going to be the hunters. Of course, that is because there's great strength in numbers, and there's going to be a lot more females than males. So that far left corner, those are the warthogs. They are the largest burrowing species in Africa. They're going to use those burrows for two reasons. One is their home, and two as protection. For those two white rhinos to your right, they're the largest rhino species. They can get up to about 6,000 pounds. Even though they are the largest, they're also extremely friendly and social, which is why you guys can see those two hanging out together.
I thought they were mine.
There's also some ostrich eggs to that right-hand side. One of those eggs can weigh up to 3 pounds, and it's going to be the same as 24 chicken eggs. The shell from that egg is going to be so thick that an adult male human can stand on it, and it still will not break. We have finally made it into Magadi Glen, which is home to a Nigerian dwarf goat hangout. Don't let their cuteness or their small size fool you, because they are already fully grown. I'm just kidding, you can let their cuteness fool you a little bit. Farmers are going to use their milk and cheese as a source of income. Speaking of farmers, for that yellow box hanging up in the middle on those two metal posts, that is a beehive box that Disney scientists created in partnership with farmers in Kenya. That is because the farmers, they were having issues with elephants coming and eating their crops, which is super sad because farmers, they depend on their crops as a source of income. And so Disney scientists, they went over to Kenya to try and help the farmers find a peaceful solution. While they were over there, the villagers told the Disney scientists that they thought elephants were terrified of bees, because they had noticed how elephants were avoiding areas of known beehives. Of course, though, the villagers, they didn't know that elephants had very sensitive skin, which is why they were avoiding those areas. But when the scientists were told that information, they came back here and they tested a theory out on the elephants